Psychology concepts, heuristics, and biases. How do you make decisions? Which jeans should I buy? Did I make the right choice? Cross the street now or wait for the walk signal? Should I be a doctor like my mom or a writer? With all the choices we make every day, why isn't decision making overwhelming? Two types of mental shortcuts help us make quick decisions about everyday matters. Heuristics are thinking strategies that allow us to make routine decisions quickly. Biases are filters we use to process information based on our likes, dislikes, and experience. Heuristics are subdivided into availability heuristics and representativeness heuristics. The availability heuristic is a prediction that a certain event happens often and is highly likely to occur based on how quickly the event comes to mind. A common example is the belief that air travel is more dangerous than car travel. Fatal airplane crashes are widely publicized, and we remember them more readily than car crashes. In reality, air travel is much safer than car travel. Or suppose your friends all found jobs right after graduation. You might use the availability heuristic to conclude that jobs are easy to find. The representativeness heuristic is the tendency to categorize a person or event quickly based on a prototype or example that already exists in our minds. For example, we expect a film advertised as a comedy to be funny based on a comedy prototype. Now, suppose you pass a very tall, athletic-looking guy standing next to the sports arena. He looks confident. Using the representativeness heuristic, you might decide that the tall man is a basketball player. Of course, you could be wrong. He might actually be a very tall businessman. Two types of bias are hindsight bias and confirmation bias. Hindsight bias is the tendency, after an event has occurred, to claim that the outcome was predictable and you knew all along what would happen. Hindsight bias is often called the "I knew it all along" effect. As an example, your friend Henry tells you his sister just got engaged to Taylor. He says he knew all along that they were made for each other. You remind Henry that he told you months ago the relationship would never last. Henry has demonstrated hindsight bias. Confirmation bias is the tendency to seek out information that confirms or validates what we already believe. Someone who believes UFOs are alien spaceships sees statistics on reported UFO sightings in a blog post. Even if the post states that there's no proof the sightings were alien spacecraft, the person would likely view the statistics as confirmation that aliens are flying around the universe. Now, let's say Sharon needs a car to go back and forth to school and her job. She researches the options she can afford and buys a model that's said to be reliable and economical. Sharon starts noticing other cars on the road. She sees many cars like hers. Due to confirmation bias, she is convinced that she bought the best, most popular model. Recap: heuristics and biases. Heuristics are mental shortcuts we use to make routine decisions quickly. The availability heuristic is a prediction that a certain event happens often and is highly likely to occur based on how quickly the event comes to mind. The representativeness heuristic is the tendency to categorize a person or event quickly based on an example that already exists in our minds. Biases are filters that we use to process information based on our likes, dislikes, and experience. Hindsight bias, the "I knew it all along" effect, is the tendency after an event has occurred to claim that we predicted the outcome. Confirmation bias is the tendency to seek out information that validates what we already believe. Heuristics and biases are not always accurate.